So, on the demand side, things are very strong. Backlog really grew nicely. And we saw that from the hyperscale cloud providers also, that, customers are looking for more AI infrastructure, computing power, and they're going to both the hyperscale cloud providers and, providers like CoreWeave. So demand is really good. CapEx was slightly better than what we anticipated. But it seems that it is possible that, customers are thinking or investors are thinking that the backlog growing so much, they will have to go out and borrow more money or invest more in capital expenditures in the second half. So it's a bit surprising. I mean, the stock reaction, because I think they came ahead of most of the metrics out there. But it seems that could be one of the reasons why stock's down.
I mean, it's kind of all over like a stock. We described it in a preview about it being one of Wall Street's most contentious stocks, Anurag. And we've seen quite a rally in less than the last couple of weeks. I think up more than 30% here, down about 5.5%. The volatility that's in this name, why is it?
That's probably one of the best questions I've heard about this particular company, and the reason is because for a period of time, investors behaved like manic depressants, and the next phase of it, they become extremely euphoric about it. Remember, the IPO was very difficult. It came at about $40, where the valuation was pretty depressed at that point, and since then it's gone from $40 to 160 because suddenly people are not that concerned about capex for this company. Unlike Microsoft or Amazon or Google or even Oracle, they don't have products that are giving them massive amount of free cash flow that they can then use to finance this particular build. They have to go out and borrow. So we already knew that. It's not, something new that we just found out today. At the same time, today they actually came out almost on every metric slightly better. But it seems to me, based on the reaction, that people started to get worried about capital expenditures again. I think the guidance comes on the call. We're going to get a little more clarity of how they are looking to fulfill a lot of these orders that are coming in.
What you look at this company, do you look at it in a vacuum, or is it telling you something just about the level of demand that you're describing there, which is we see this kind of surge of growth, of course, in AI, and we've seen that for many quarters now, and this impulse, this need to, yes, invest in the capital expense to build all of these new facilities. Any signs that there's any trouble there, or does it seem like the trajectory is still heading in the same direction?
So there is no trouble on the demand side. In fact, demand I quite picked up quite a bit. Their backlog went from 25 billion last quarter to 30 billion. I mean, getting 5 billion in one quarter sequentially is a very big number. But remember, when AWS was formed, let's go back, 10, 15, 20 years ago, they were probably going through the same growth phase, but they were doing in the umbrella of a larger entity. Same thing for Microsoft Azure practice. You have to invest a lot ahead of the curve in order to, fulfill the demand to be a big player. They have decided to do it in the public market. Now they're going to go through the ebbs and pains of somebody that suddenly wakes up and say, oh my God, they just have 30 billion in backlog. They have to go out and spend 15, $20 billion in the next few years to fulfill that demand? Well, but you knew that like last, 2 days ago. It's not something brand new for people. So I think the emotions are going to go up and down quite a bit with this one, but demand is extremely strong. We see no letdown on that. The capital expenditures they guided for, when they reported last time, they did better than that. So we'll find out on the call what kind of capital expenditures can we expect in the second, in the next quarter and the quarter after that.
So, Anurag, 20 seconds. Is that the top question you'd want to know from the C-suite
Oh, yeah.
on that analyst call is what the spending is in terms of CapEx going forward?
Yeah, capex, what's going forward, as well as what do we expect on the cost of that debt? When they issue that, it's about 9 percentage points. I mean, that's a very high yield debt for anybody that's out there. So how can they get that down is another question.